Okay, well, happy Monday morning to you all. I'm headed out for a work commute on my little XT250 today with the SherpaX trailer attached to the back of it, just so I can make sure that it's roadworthy before I take it on a 2,000-mile trip up to Oklahoma and Arkansas. I got about 35 pounds worth of junk in the box, and this morning I'm taking my daughter to the bus stop on it, so we're going to be really loading the little mule down. Okay, so yeah, climb on. Okay then. Okay, off we go. The trash truck was backing up at the end of the street here. What was that about? We're backing up way far. Wait. You got it? All right. Oh, I looped it in back there. Yeah, you got it. Cool. And your phone? All right. See you later. Yeah, I had to check my low beam. The switch was getting shorted out the other day, and the low beam wasn't running. Realized that in traffic when I couldn't see my reflection off of somebody's car in front of me. Okay, so now it's off to work. Okay, so I'm just doing roadworthiness tests on this trailer and make sure the bike is all up to snuff, which I'm sure it is. It always has been. This guy's doing it. Yeah, I just pull it right out in front of me, man. Did a maintenance and refresh on this thing. I still haven't put my double take mirrors on here. I'm going to do that probably today or tomorrow. What else? I need to remount my tool tube. I've got one of those Agri Supply tool tubes on the rear. I've got the small one, small diameter, and the larger one. And they're back here on this left Happy Trails pannier mount, hard mount. But the upper one, the screws backed themselves out and it just kind of fell off. I've got it, but it came loose. So I'm going to rivet that puppy in there, drill out a slightly larger hole, get me some good galvanized or maybe even stainless rivets if I can find them. Put that thing on there with some fender washers and make it a little more permanent. What else? I did all the valve maintenance and the basic stuff. So it should be ready to go. Man, it's so humid this morning. Every time I close my visor, it's fogging up. I need to get another pen lock for this thing. My plans this week, if all goes right, all goes well, I'm headed to Oklahoma on Wednesday morning, late morning maybe. We'll see how long it takes for me to get my butt out of here. We're hoping for Wednesday morning departure, and we'll be up in southeast Oklahoma to meet up with Neil by evening time. Adrian's going to be riding his Super Cub up there. I thought about riding my Cub, but I need to put some road miles on this thing and test out this trailer and get my packing routines down and logistics and all that for pulling this thing on the Cannonball. We don't have our SherpaX mounts for the Super Cubs yet. KipMoto said that he is going to try his best to get ours out for the end of May. So that still gives us about 30 days to get them mounted and test them and do whatever little minor. I'm going. wiring work and stuff like that we need to do for trailer lighting. I haven't done that on this one yet. I'm going to do that this week before I take it out on a long trip. I need to run a sub-harness down from the rear lighting assembly on this thing down to the yoke of the trailer and then string it back. And I need to fabricate some kind of a mount for my tail light that I'm going to put on here. I'll probably just hack one up myself. Won't be a very good job. I would like somebody, find someone, a fabricator, to water jet cut or laser cut a frame that I can mount. I'll show a quick look of it here on the screen, show you a little video of it when I stop it a bit, but put it on the rear shock mount at the top, just kind of a saddle mount that slips over it. You put the bolt through and it'll just be a flat sheet aluminum that's been folded with the right cuts and spacings and all that to hold a tail light and potentially a license plate. So I'll just run the wiring back to that, and I've got an add more brake bar, a little 8-inch brake bar. I didn't get the one with the intelligent brake light or anything. I think that's kind of overkill for this. It's just the super bright tail light bar with the amber progressive signals on either side of it. So tie that into the bike and away we go. Still bedding in my new brakes too. That's the other thing. I wanted to get some road miles on it before I end up really out on the highway. I put EBC double H pads on the front and some centered metallic off-road pads on the rear. Replaced the rear rotor, resurfaced the front rotor. Try to give this thing a little bit better brakes because that's always been kind of a sore spot for me. The brakes are a little weak on this bike. It's not a 2-fingered brake. It's more like a 4 fingers and a thumb and a prayer sometimes to get it stopped from higher speeds. I bought a Galfer rear brake line for it, stainless braided brake line. It's supposed to be. I received it, put it in the garage in my project box, never really took much attention to what it was. They sent me another front line. Well, I don't need a front line, I've got one on here. But the product description on Amazon said a rear brake line. No, it's not a rear brake line. Oh well. So it's too late to return that now. I'll just have a spare brake line laying around if I need it, or find somebody else that's got an XT250 that wants a stainless braided front line. But already these pads feel like they've got a lot more bite. They haven't finished bedding in yet, but they're better than the factory pads. So the double take mirrors that I've got are the same ones that I put on the the CT125. So they're the touring mirrors that are kind of diamond, trapezoidal shaped, and an adjustable arm. So I'll put those on here. A little bit better for in the woods and stuff. I've bumped these into stuff in the woods a few times, but it didn't break them. It just tweaked them out of shape. And I ended up hitting the stalk hard enough that it loosened up the bolt down here. I really whacked it pretty good a couple times. So with those double take mirrors, it uses the ram ball here and then ram ball at the end of the mirror itself with a double socket arm on there, and it's adjustable. And when you hit them, they just kind of lop out of the way. If you know you're going to be in the deep woods or real close single track stuff, then you just loosen the bottom clamp and flip the mirror in and tighten it back down again. I'm going to snap these up so they're not flapping on the highway. Just in time. feel this trailer back there. It does have a little bit of inertia to it. I would imagine if I had loose items in there or water, I would feel it, you know, kind of undulate and slosh a bit. But for the most part, man, you can't feel this thing back there. It really tows well. I'm impressed with it. So I haven't mounted the 2 RoadtriPs containers on the sides yet. I'll do that before my trip later this week. Let's go start running now. So I'm just going to be tools. Not going to be tools. Go in here, I'm not asking. So here I am running 70 with a trailer on the back. It's pulling just fine. You gonna keep driving? I don't have quite enough steam to pass that guy. Of course, he's the slow guy. So I'll mount up the 2 RoadtriPs 1.75s that I've got. KipMoto designed this with the height in mind for 1 gallon RoadtriPs containers, but I already had the 1.75s, and if you turn them sideways instead of vertical, they fit just fine. So I'm going to drill the side struts on this trailer and put the mounts on there. And for the camping trips, I'll be carrying 1 fuel, 1 water. But for the long road trips, like the Cannonball, it's just going to be 2 fuel containers. I won't need to carry the water because I'll have that in a hydration bag or something up here. And we'll be on the road everywhere, so there will be plenty of opportunities to pick up water and food and all that. Pulling along 74, 75, no problem here. Not even wide open. Yeah, this thing definitely pulls behind the bike better aerodynamically than having the panniers on the sides of this. I've got 2 big aluminum Happy Trails Teton panniers that I mount on the racks, and when I have those on there, this bike has trouble braking 70, 71, so it's a pretty big aerodynamic anchor. This trailer is just pulling right along in the slipstream, and I'm able to get 75, 76 easy. So it's a good test for the little Cub, because the Cub is very power limited, you know, or challenged for aerodynamics with only 8.5 horsepower. So you should pull along behind the Cub pretty well. I feel a little bit of hop out of that rear tire on the trailer, it feels like. That thing might be out of balance. I need to put it on the touring stand and check it out. I only feel it at certain speeds, so it's probably just out of balance a little bit. Now I also have a scooter wheel for it, 14-inch diameter, from a PCX 150. black, you know, aluminum mag, you know, 5-spoke wheel, whatever it is, 6-spoke. I need to get some spacer collars turned down for it to fit the axle and the spacing on this. So I'm going to try to do that before the Cannonball, so I can pull a tubeless tire on that trailer. Right now it's a, you know, dirt bike tire. It's dot rated, but it's a Shinko or one of those ADV or dual sport type tires, but it is tube. So I'd like to have a tubeless on there. It's a whole lot easier to patch those. So I'll see if I can get my collars turned down in the next few weeks. Go to a machine shop and say, this is what I've got, make this fit. I'm sure they can spin down some little steel or aluminum spacers in no time. Probably have to make it out of steel, just a little more durable. That's what the factory collars are on the PCX. I was thinking about doing to this before I take it on a really long trip. This trip won't be enough of an adventure, but before I do any more serious off-road adventure camping with it, I'm going to replace the clutch because this one is feeling a little thin. It's only got 18,000 or 17.5 on it right now, but it's seen a lot of off-road use. And it's just feeling thin. I've adjusted it, and it's only engaging right at the last little bit of the lever, so I think it's probably time to replace that. I do have a fresh clutch pack sitting around. I don't remember who it is, Vesra or somebody. Might be Barnett. I've got clutch and springs just sitting in a box waiting. And the cover gasket, of course. This thing is so nice to ride around town. The 8 or 9 inches of suspension that it has, front and rear, and it's real soft sprung, so it's like a magic carpet ride. You just float over these bumps. You don't even feel them. The handlebars bump a tiny bit, but you can run over curbs with this thing, speed bumps, full tilt boogie, doesn't matter. You barely feel it. What else am I going to do to this before a long road trip? I'm going to put a couple of Ram ball mounts on the rear rack back here so I can face the camera backwards to watch the trailer and see how it's behaving. It'd be kind of neat to see it bumping around in the woods behind the bike. So, camera back there will be kind of cool. Might try to figure out a spot to drill in a ram ball on the side of the trailer itself to watch the rear suspension action and kind of get a relative view of it looking toward the bike to see how things behave and how it articulates. That'll be pretty cool. A fast car sitting in the middle of the road here blocking. What are you doing there, genius? Yep, you're blocking the whole entrance. Okay, Well, I have arrived here at the shop. I'm going to do a little bit of work here, and then I've got to call all the way over on the east side of downtown, which I hate going over there, but it is what it is. So I will catch up with you for the next leg. Oh yeah, I said I was going to illustrate the pannier rack and where I had those tool tubes. Just on the inside of the left one here, there's a tool shelf where you can place longer tools, you know, tire irons, that sort of thing down in here. And just above that, I've got these two agricultural supply. They're supposed to be for like operators manuals on tractors. They're cheap if you get them through any of the ag supply stores, only $4 or $5 each. Anyway, I've got the smaller diameter one that I keep WD-40 and zip ties and some other stuff like that in there, and then the larger one I mounted right on top here, and I keep one of those Primus 1-liter fuel bottles in here. But my screws back themselves out, so I'm going to drill those out a little bit, put the thing back on here, some fender washers on the top of it, and rivet that monkey. It's not going to come loose again. What else? Trailer. I haven't really shown much about the trailer other than it's got its own suspension. Really works well. That's adjustable for preload. I've got it set kind of in the middle, which is fine for right now. I don't have it real heavily loaded. I'll probably increase the preload a bit when I put the RoadtriPS on there, because that's going to be 20 pounds of fuel or something like that. It's what, 6 pounds and change per US gallon, so almost 2 gallons per side, you know, let's say a little over 10 pounds each side, whatever. Yeah, so the hitch ties into the rear axle adjuster bolts here. Oh, it looks like I got some surface rust. I'm going to scrub that off. It replaced these axle adjusters here, and then there's a post that's welded off of that, and these T-bolts right here just unscrew, and you can pull the trailer right off the bike and leave those on there, so the trailer is quick detach that way. You've got some hitch pins here that are drilled through that to keep the little T-bolt from backing itself out when you don't want it to. Really slick design. The center here is what pivots. There are no sealed bearings or anything in this. It's just brass or bronze bushings, but those are cheap and easy, and they last long enough. You know, they wear out. Go to any hardware store and get some more. Show the trailer pivots up and down. It's kind of hard to do it from behind and let you guys still see what's going on. But, you know, that pivots up and down, and then the center pivot there allows it to go side to side. So when you're riding the bike through the woods, down the road, whatever, it leans with the bike, and it'll trail almost exactly in the bike's path. My XT has got a really, really sharp turning radius. These things will just turn around within their own width almost, their own length. They're really super tight turning radius. So if I crank this thing over and do a sharp U-turn, I actually jackknife the trailer a bit. It butts out right here. Where am I? That's it. That's full lock, and the bike can actually turn tighter than that. So what ends up happening is you crab the rear wheel a little bit. It kind of skitters and hops because you're pushing it around at full lock. But it's a pretty extreme circumstance. If you're on dirt, it's just going to scrub anyway. So yeah, it's a neat setup. I like it. I don't think I've ever really done a full walk around of the XT, but I'll do that another time. It's a good little machine. I've had a lot of fun with it. Okay, off to work. Okay, well, welcome back to my day in progress. It's Monday afternoon. I'm not sure what time it is, 2-ish, something like that. Battery's running really low on the camera, so I didn't record most of my ride back out toward the Katy area, but here I am, back almost in my neighborhood. The SherpaX trailer is towing very well behind the XT. The only problem that I've found is in crosswinds at high speeds, this bike already has a propensity to have a little bit of head shake above 65 miles an hour. So if you're going around 60 to 65, and you get into a crosswind, it kind of makes the whole bike do this lasagna noodle thing and just continues doing it. It doesn't get really bad, and it doesn't make the trailer hop around or do anything overtly nasty, but it kind of exaggerates the bike's tendency to head shake a little bit. That's okay. Most of my road touring is going to be back roads at 55, so that will be just fine. I've got it loaded up pretty heavy too. It's I think I'm probably 45 pounds worth of crap in there right now, so I intentionally loaded it heavy because I was anticipating carrying fuel and all that, so I wanted to feel what it would ride like at full weight. So I think it's doing well. On a different bike with different steering geometry that's not quite so twitchy, I'm sure that head shake would not exist at all, or it wouldn't be exaggerated by the trailers. It's doing well. I think this is going to work out fine. And now I'm not sure how well it's going to pull behind the Cub. I don't know yet. I won't know until we hook it up, because the Cub is short wheelbase little bike. It doesn't have quite as steep a steering rake as this one does, so it might be a little more stable. We'll find out. And the 21-inch front wheel on this with the narrow, street tire that I've got on it kind of exaggerates that wobble or head shake issue. So I don't think the Cub is going to be quite as prone to that, but we'll find out. But otherwise, at lower speeds, just regular stop and go and moving around, lower trail speeds, I can't even notice that trailer back there, really. The only time I do feel it is when there's a strong crosswind pushing. It does influence the bike a little bit. So today I'm going to try to pull the back plastics off of the bike and get into the wiring harness and make my own little sub harness for the trailer wiring. And I'll string up the wires to connect the Admore light bar, but I still need to figure out how I'm going to make the mounting plate for that. Sure. Figure it out. I might be able to adapt the existing bracket that they sent just for the short term, screw it into the upper rails of this hoop, but we'll see. I'd much rather build that mounting plate if I can, so I'm going to stop by Lowe's Hardware over here and see if they have any plate aluminum, 1/4 inch thick or 1/8 inch thick, something that's fairly sturdy. I think this is my chair. Something fairly thick that I can chop up and fold to make a plate with ears that go around for the shock bolt, top shock bolt there. Can't recall which way it goes out. It's going to be that way. So I don't have much battery left in this. I'm sure it's going to give up very soon. I'll probably shut this down as soon as I roll into Lowe's, and I may not be able to rejoin you. Depends on if I can find my spare battery. So if I don't catch up with you on the return ride home, then I bid you all farewell.